Hello, hello. How are you doing? It's me, Lesley from Hefty Doodle. I hope you're all having an amazing weekend and that you have had some awesome times watching all the amazing videos that have been part of this summit. So many talented people, so many creators that are just awesome and some fantastic projects. I will enjoy it. So I'm waiting to see if there's any comments and questions come. I can figure this one out. Aha. If you have any questions for a type question and then your question. So I shall patiently to see if anyone is joining in to ask any questions. And please do let us know as well where you are based. I'm in Scotland at the moment, so it is 9:30 with me over here. And plenty of people from all over the place with lots of phones. May or may not be in my pajamas on duty. No one will know for sure. So first we have got a question that says, tell us about your tape. Thank you for asking. We have got some low-tack memo tape. This was a product that was created because I was getting frustrated whenever I was putting my dies through a die cutting machine. And I was using washi tape for a long time. I'm sure maybe some of you use washi tapes or have used washi tapes in the past. And sometimes what would happen is that the pressure of the plates, when it went through the roller, just that extra pressure would reactivate all the adhesive and the tightness of the washi tape. And then whenever it would come out the other side and you would pull off the washi tape, it would take off the top layer of the paper. And that meant that I had to really specifically put the washi tape on the die and over the outside of the die cut, not on the inside. And sometimes that worked fine, and sometimes that was just an absolute ordeal. Because if it actually went over your colored image or your image, as soon as you pulled off the tape, it just removed the top layer of your coloring, like the world had fallen apart. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. So the tape was something I used to get those full Post-it notes that have that low-tack adhesive on it, and I used to use them, but they're actually really quite expensive. I really enjoyed the fact that it was paper-based. I could cut it easily, I could rip it. It was really simple to use, and that's what I was thinking. What would be great is if I had a roll of stuff instead of the sheets, like for the Post-it note things. So that's what we developed. We came up with a roll of tape. It is called Hefty Doodle Low Tack Memo Tape, and it is paper-based. So you can stamp on it and you can cut it out and use a mask. You can use it as a big long strip, and I use it all the time. Can you cut the masking tape with dies? Yes, you absolutely can. Are there dies for those trees? It would make things easier. Yes, so much Kinker Crafts. There are matching dies for the Trim the Tree stamps. I use it because I was limited to 5 products. So I had to fussy cut with my scissors, but there are dies to go with the Trim the Tree stamps. So that would absolutely make things quicker. But yeah, whenever you are die cutting the tape, what I tend to do is to memo tape onto just a scratch piece of paper or card. And that means when you run it through the machine, the adhesive side is kind of, it's not picking up all the little debris on your A plate. So when you put it onto a scratch card and run it through the machine, when it comes out the other side, you can peel it away from the cut piece of card. And I usually use tweezers for that. But yeah, that's one favorite ways to use the Hefferdoodle memo tape, actually, because it makes things really, really easy. So the question here from Millie, hello Millie, says, what is the story behind the name Hefferdoodle? I'm glad you asked. So it's kind of a bit funny. Some of you guys, Laurel, you might already know this story, I don't know. But whenever I was dating my now husband, Craig, he used to marvel at how much food I would eat, because I love food. I really enjoy making food, but I mostly enjoy eating food. It's something that I get a lot of joy out of food. And he would always marvel at how much food I would eat. And there was one time he said that, oh, you're a big hungry, which was just a joke, and it was funny, and we had a laugh. So the next time he called me a hungry heifer, it was ha ha ha, funny, funny. Before too long, I think I was having a little bit of a gnarly day, and I bit his head off, and I was like, can you stop calling me a hungry heifer? I'm going to get a complex. That's not nice. And he put his arm around me and he said, but you're my hungry heffy. And that was the start of a term of endearment for me, that I was heffy. And so whenever I then started doing things, he helped me set up my first ever blog and my YouTube channel. And the blog I named Hungry Heffy Crafts. It was a little bit of a nod to him. And so on Instagram, YouTube, all of those things, my handle is Hungry Heffy. And whenever it came to creating this, I had to come up with a name. And I don't know if you guys have had to do this before, but it's hard. It's really hard to come up with a name for a business that is unique and that is interesting and that really speaks to you. And we went through so many different options, and then we came up with Heffy. And the reason that we use that is because I started as a coder, and I was using all of the amazing products that are out there, shop floors. I was using lots of Lawn Fawn, Mama Elephant, etc. And if I was making a card and I didn't have the stamp that I needed, I'm like, what would be really a surfboard? I would just take out a pen and draw it in the same sort of style as what I match my card. And so I would draw these images that were pretend. It was just a drawn image to make it look like a stamp. So whenever I in this, I would just say, this is just my doodle. Like, it's just a doodle. So whenever then was making the business, I drew all the products. I'm drawing off, I'm the illustrator. So to me, I don't really feel like an artist. I just think just my doodles. So it is a doodle by Heffy. It is a Heffy doodle. So that's where the name comes from. Every one of those images you see is a doodle by Heffy. It's a Heffy doodle. And also, I think it is memorable. Harris says, do you use a glass mat when you work on cards? Good question. So I possess a glass mat. I have a tonic glass mat, and I have not really used it. Mostly because when I'm crafting, I will live stream. Found that the lights, I have two big LED panels up here, and they would reflect off the glass, and I didn't really like the way that was so what I actually craft on is a silicone mat. It's a white silicone mat. I have many years worked on the waffle flower media mat, and it's very useful. And I have just a slightly larger silicone one. I like the way that it is really easy to clean up, and it doesn't glare on my lights. Yay! But I do know a lot of people use glass mats and love them. So I think you have to find what's right for you. Jane has then, do you like the dome blender or do you prefer the flat one? So you might have seen that I actually use both. And that's purely because I'm one of those creatures that have a blending tool foam pad for every color of my distressings. I will show you. I have them here like this in a little acrylic storage, which is actually meant for nail polish, I think. And I had that before the domed one. So most of them are flat, but I did buy a couple of packs of ones to test drive them. And I have to say, I actually do prefer the domed ones. So some of my flat ones are dying a death because I think they have a little natural lifespan and usage span before they start to disintegrate, to get a little bit crumbly. And yes, I think the goal will be eventually all of the colors will be domed blenders. So I think you get less of the circular rim. The flat ones, sometimes you just get an arc when you go down on the card. So yeah, I prefer domed ones. You get less of that sort of arc effect. I feel like I missed a question, but maybe it'll come up. Stampin' Teacher is saying, are your stamps your own designs? Absolutely are. Yes, I will draw them myself. I will often get customers say to me, please do a stamp in whatever, and I will try and do that. I want to give people what they want. Sometimes it takes me a long time because, like raccoons, I love raccoons. I wanted to do raccoons for years, but every time I doodle one, I was like, I'm not happy. It's not perfect. I'm not happy yet. So sometimes I take a little time. I need to marinate the design, but yes, I draw them myself. And very often what happens is I will sketch loads and loads and loads of things and then just become overwhelmed and be like, they're all cute design. And that's the hardest bit. Kinkercraft, I went to your site. The tape is priced in pounds. Is it available to purchase side? Yes, it is. So we are based in the UK. I live in Scotland. So on our website, you will see that the price is indeed in pounds. If you're on a computer, sadly, this function doesn't work for mobile. Sadly, but if you're on a computer and you go up to the top, there's a little man icon and you can click on it and you can change your country to United States and your currency to dollars, excuse me. Oh dear. And that will show you things in the rough equivalent in dollars. Money will still be taken in pounds, however. We do ship worldwide, and anything over £100 will shipping. This is always good. But if you do wish to buy it stateside, then you can get them from our retailers. We sell to Simon Says Stamps, scrapbook.com, Butterfly Reflections Inc. We have lots of other independent ones as well. And we have distributors. So our stuff goes to like Ecstasy Crafts and then they sell it on to other stores as well. And if you have a favorite craft store, please do tell them to come and stock Hefty Doodle. Just come in touch with us and we can set them up. We ship worldwide to stores as well as customers. And sometimes people in the States are a bit because they think it's going to cost a lot of money to ship from here to there. But actually, sometimes I've been told that it can cost less for me to ship from Scotland to America than it can from America to America. So it's worth knowing. Right, Risa says, I believe you had a marker holder in the background. What kind is it? Indeed. Where is it? Can you see it? You can roughly see it there. If I tilt this, you might be better. I do have a marker holder in the background. This is the individual trays that you get from Spectrum Crafter's Companion, is that what it's called? So they have little trays, and what is that? 12 on each row, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 12 on each row, and they one on top of the other. And I really like it. It was a new thing when we moved up into this craft room last year. I decided that I have all my Copics out here. I do also have a drawer next to me. My drawer, I have little tubs with other markers, and the drawer opens just right next to the bit where I stand for crafting. So open that drawer and grab any of these markers, and then just turn around and grab my Copics here as well. Patty has some questions too. Patty says, how do you store your dies and stamps? I store mine in the clear pockets. And if I move back, you might be able to see, I have a big, if I can tilt this down. Oh, sorry. I have a big drawer behind me. It's like 1 meter wide. And in my, I have got fridge bins. And then in my fridge bins, I have my stamp pocket holders. And I have the name of my stamp up here. And I've put my stamps inside it. And then in the back, I have a piece of magnetic sheet with the dies attached. And I have got a couple of 3 of the fridge bins in this drawer wide. And the one on the left is all stamps and it's all heavy doodle. And because as you can imagine, I have all the heavy doodle. And I have dividers that are alphabetized. So the one on the left is all heavy doodle stamp, and it is alphabetized with my little dividers. And then the one in the middle is not stamps, dies. And I've got pink dividers, and those are divided by, what is this? Like topic. So I have scene or shape builders, word dies, what else? Word dies with shadows. I have got borders, alphabets, interactive captions, tags and strips, backdrop panels. Yeah. And then I have another one to the right. It's got all my stencils in. And my drawer, which is the bottom, has all my stamps from other companies. And those are alphabetized by brand. So in the A section, I have Avery L. C is Catherine Pooler, etc. So yeah, that's how I store my stamps and dies. And I have been using this method for a couple of years, and I really like it. The other thing that I do, which I really recommend, but it probably depends on your space, is that I have like a little tub, an empty tub, and I put it on my desk when I'm crafting. So every time I'm taking out one of my pockets, I can then stand it up in this empty tub on my desk. And all of them are standing up in this tub. Otherwise, what happens is I put it down flat and a piece on top of it, and then a die machine goes on top of it, and it all gets lost. So I like to have a working desk as well when I'm crafting. Lost in Paper, hello, says, love your card, Lesley. Could I use a smaller image? You absolutely can use a smaller image. You're going to need to create more maps and spend more time fussy cutting. But if that is your jam, then you could also use a variety of images if you liked. And that would give a different style as well. So that would work really well too. The other thing you could do is set up your Misty with different images and do almost like an assembly line where you are stamping lots of different panels all at once. Like that would work too. Margaret Ann says, loved your sweet green and pink card. Add the extra options with gel pen or gems. And I'd like to get some of that memo tape. The memo tape is awesome. I use it all the time. I even use it when I'm making a card, especially for magazines. I will just rip off a little, maybe 2-inch section of the tape and stick it on my craft desk. And every time I product, I will write it on the memo tape. And anytime I use an ink, I'll write the color on the memo tape. And then once the card has been completed, I take that memo tape inside or on the back of the card. And then I put it to the side. And then when I'm ready to do a blog post or to do a write-up for the magazine, I don't look at the card and magically remember what color that ink pad was or that color was. I have it written down on that memo, piece of memo tape. So I use it a lot for that. I also, one of my favorite use it is when I'm ink blending, that I rip off a little piece and I put the side up and stick it on my fingers like this. So I have a little sticky bit on my foot. And then that makes sure that when I'm ink blending, my fingers are inky. Aunt Ali too says, what is your favorite technique? I think, this is a really hard one, but I think I'd have to say ink blending is my favorite technique, because I think there's something really magical with starting with a white piece of card and then ending up with beautifully colored masterpiece. And there's just so variety. You can mix different colors together, and sometimes you can use colors that you'd never really think would go together, but actually blend really together. And I love being able to splatter it with water for a distressed look. And then also you can use distress ink or distress different looks too. Robin says, hi Lesley, do you have time for any of these? Well, if you looked around my craft room right now, yes. I have got a dress form in the corner, which I've been doing some sewing lately. I've got my sewing machine out. I am in a local pantomime, which is like a drama group. I don't know if pantomimes are really a big thing outside of the UK. It's like a really cheesy play that has music in it, based, and very tongue-in-cheek and just silly. So I'm part of a local amateur dramatics group, and I'm going to be in the pantomime here. I'm the guardian of spring, but I'm also helping with all the costumes. So I've got over here a raven costume with wings out and a mask for raven as well. And other days, I also am really into roller skating. So I'm part of a local roller skating group and club. I'm one of the coaches. And I've actually just come back from Barcelona at a skate festival. So that was super fun. But yeah, it's definitely hard to juggle all of the. Sometimes I get to see my family. Oh, it's time to wrap things up. Thank you so much, Lesley, for joining us and enjoy the summit. Yeah, thank you guys for all of your amazing questions. I hope you've had one. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the summit. I think the videos were amazing. You all enjoyed me spilling water all over my project. I'm glad I didn't say whoopsie. Stress-free, just let it all going. And if you haven't seen my video yet, please do check it out. Again, you guys, if there's any other questions, fire them in quick before this